Well, I'm feeling a little bit sad today because just a couple days ago, everything became real for me. I officially closed my business. After doing this for almost 50 years, I went on Google Maps and I took down my hours. I pretty much took down my business um, so that way people aren't going to be calling me for new work anymore. On my website, I took off my business hours and my phone number so that way people are not going to be calling me anymore for new work, because this is it. Things are getting real now. We're selling stuff now to prepare for our move to the Philippines. So last week, my wife, she returned after 3 months and she completed her mission. She got our property, got all the paperwork done, all the contracts, the titles. So it's done. It's a done deal. All that's missing is us. So now is turning the page on our life and continuing on to the next thing, the next big thing. So really, I just had a couple jobs left to do, and I had to just draw the line and not accept any more new work. Because if you do, if you don't do that, the work's just going to keep coming in, and it'll just never stop. So I have, you might remember there's just a couple of videos ago where I did the double diamond red stitch on the motorcycle seat. Well, anyway, he brought me his other three pieces to do to match it up. So that's one of my last jobs to do. After that, I have that 1969, it's a Toyota FJ, I guess it is. The customer, he had all his seats the seat frames reconditioned, and he brought them back to me. So I'm going to be doing new foam and new seat covers for those. He wants double diamonds on that too, but his is going to be brown and tan. So that was supposed to be my last job. And then this really nice old lady came in and she says, "Well, I have my kitchen chairs I need done." And I'm like, "Oh no, what am I going to do?" Okay, okay, I can't say no to her, right? So I thought I was going to go out with a bang, right? With this huge job, with this Toyota FJ, I guess it is, seats to do. And I thought, well, that's leaving on a high note. And then in come the kitchen chairs. Not that there's anything wrong with kitchen chairs, okay? It's just that maybe that's just a symbolism of the diversity of type of upholstery that I've always done. Some guys, they'll just do auto upholstery, and some other people, they'll just do furniture upholstery. But I do everything from motorcycle seats to aircraft. And people, they would ask me, well, can you do this upholstery for me? And I'd always tell them, well, if you gave me a basketball, I could probably make a headliner for your basketball. But so I am going from Toyota FJ seats to kitchen chair cushions. But she is asking for my help. So what am I supposed to do? So technically, I guess kitchen chairs is going to be my last job. So a few videos ago, we talked about how I was going to be quitting upholstery to go live in the Philippines on my paradise island in Palawan, which, those of you that don't know, Palawan is to the Philippines what, say, Hawaii is to the United States. Everybody that lives in the Philippines, they go to Palawan to go on vacation, as well as all over the world. People come from all over the place. But after that, a lot of people in comments, even very recently, they're still saying, well, I'm sure going to miss your channel. I'm going to miss you doing what you're doing and all that. But I always write to them. I always write back. I say, well, I'm going to still continue to be doing my Sunday morning videos. I won't be sewing on a sewing machine anymore, but you know what? It's all up here, and I'm getting it from here to you, so we're going to be doing a lot of things, and it's going to be upholstery is always going to be the subject of the video. I promise you, except for when I'm out on the beach, right? Maybe I'll do some of this from the beach. Who knows? Well, I'm sure that'll probably happen. So I think that answering comments and questions is probably going to be a new part of my video channel. And I'll figure out probably how to do it live. We can do some live chat. Um, that means that I'll be doing that like late on a Saturday night. So that way you guys are seeing me live on a Sunday here in the US. So how would you like that? How would you like to get real live answers in real time? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? So after I'm finished with these jobs, that's going to be the last of my income. So the way I was thinking about it was that, over the last 5 years that I've been doing this YouTube channel, apparently, I hear from you all the time how I've helped you. I've helped your business. You had an interest in upholstery and you wanted to start your own business and you did. And I gave you the confidence to do things that you couldn't do. And I get these stories all the time, all the time, all the time. And for me, it's always been a really good feeling that I could help so many people. But now, you know what? The tables have kind of turned a little bit. I'm kind of asking you for help now. I'm going to need your support. And I have everything set up. I have the super thanks right below there. Look underneath the screen right there. It's got, thumbs up, thumbs down, and you scroll a little bit to the right and it'll have a little heart. It's super thanks. But I guess in order to contribute, you have to be logged into your Google account, or else, some people, they can't find it. So if you're logged into your Google account, hit that super thanks button. And, I get a lot of people that contribute, $2, $3, $5. Some people give me 20. I got a 50 once. Yeah, that was awesome. So that's one way of doing it. The other one is the buy me a coffee option. If you find value in my upholstery tutorials, now is an easier way to contribute to my YouTube channel. Buy a coffee by scanning this QR code now. Thank you. So when you go to the Buy Me a Coffee page, you'll see that you have different ways of contributing. I think there's like $5, $25, $50, and $100. And there's also subscriptions where you can contribute every month. So a lot of people, they put their own amount in there. You can do that too, put in your own amount of how much you think you can contribute. But I'll tell you what, it's me and you now. Before it was just pretty much me out there talking into the wind. But now it's you and me. We're partners in this. I need your help to keep me going. And in that way, I can keep making these videos. Don't get confused because I'm going to be living on a paradise island that I'm rich, that I can afford to do that. The thing is, it's a lot cheaper to live out there than what it is to live out here in the United States. That's the only reason I can do it. And, my wife, she has all her connections. She's well connected out there. She knows all the most important people, which is always helpful. So the next time you're thinking about commenting about how much I helped you, think about me a little bit, okay? And click on that buy me a coffee and help me out this time. You don't know how much I'd be grateful and how much I'd appreciate you for doing that. And I always do. I always, write back to the person. And it's not, I do it more, in the comment, it's more informal. But when I comment back to my contributors on the Buy Me a Coffee, I make it much more personal, because I feel, the people that are contributing to me, they're giving of themselves. So I want to give them a little bit more back. So one great way of communicating that I found out, my wife, she was gone for 3 months in the Philippines. And what we used was the Facebook Messenger. You're probably well familiar with that. But I was thinking to some of the contributors, what I was wanting to offer was a one-on-one, a phone conversation for however long they want, however long they need to get their answer. If you contribute to my YouTube channel on the Buy Me a Coffee, now that's one going to be the perk, right? Is face to face on camera, questions and answers directly to you. I don't know how much that is worth, but I'll tell you what, if I had this kind of advice and this kind of an opportunity, almost 50 years ago when I was starting out, and I would have been decades ahead, of a learning curve. Because that learning curve, you know how that is, right? How long does it take to learn how to do something when you're doing it all by yourself? But if you had somebody like me that could answer your question directly, how much time in your life did you just save? So I think in the next few weeks that are coming up, I'm going to be learning more about the live YouTube live. And, we might start doing some of that on Sundays, just to kind of kick things off. So, I'll let you know when that's going to happen. But, you just got to figure out how to do it first. But I think that that's going to be a really awesome thing to do because you're going to be right there with me. And we'll get your answers, your questions answered that way too. So yesterday was the first day of us getting rid of stuff. I have to get rid of everything. Everything has to go. I have cars I got to sell. I have all my airplane stuff I got to sell. Yesterday some lady came by and she picked up a whole bunch of stuff for the yard because they're starting a homestead here in this area. So they're looking for a lot of the stuff that we had. So it turned out pretty good. They went away with a whole bunch of stuff. So that put in a little dent in the stuff that we have to get rid of, but we still have a lot more. Which then brings me to all my upholstery stuff. So all of my upholstery stuff has to disappear too. I have rolls of materials, I have rolls of fabrics and foam and other stuff. Anything and everything that has to do with upholstery. I have all that stuff, and I got to get rid of it all. But before you say, "Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me," you got to figure out how you're going to come and get it. I'm here in northeast. It's really East Texas, Livingston, Texas. You look at it. You can look it up in the map. Small little town, about an hour and a half northeast of Houston. But if there was anything that you wanted, let's put it in my email. You can write me an email. It's right here, rudolphsupholstery@gmail.com. I'll also put it down there in the description. Okay, I'll put the link in there in the description. But anyway, if you are really interested in anything that I do have, write me an email. Let's see if we can put something together. Let's see if we can make a deal. And, I can't really ship anything. That's what I'm saying. I can't box up stuff and start shipping stuff. Can't do that. So either you're going to have to arrange for your own shipping, or if you know somebody in the area that can come pick it up for you, or come out here with a trailer and get it yourself, that works too. So now this brings me to this sewing machine. After I made my first announcement about me moving, a bunch of people jumped on it, and some people in the area here, they immediately said that they wanted it. So we struck a deal, okay? But then soon after that, the deal fell through. So I was telling people in comments that the sewing machine was already spoken for because I thought it was, but now it's available again. So what I decided to do is on December 14th, 2025, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to have an auction. So on that, leading up to that day, wanted to encourage anybody who's interested in this sewing machine to write me an email, rudolph@rudolphsupholstery@gmail.com, and tell me how much you're willing to pay for this thing. You might want to do your homework first and find out what its value is, what they're going for. But really, what I have here is the sewing machine. I have the table. I have boxes and boxes of bobbins, which are real expensive. Anything that you see here behind me, including the threads, I'm going to go ahead and put the threads in with the machine. But we got the machine, the sewing table, got the lights. I got the thread tree here. All of that's going to go as one big package. Pretty much, I have tools for the sewing machine, other little fittings and implements and attachments and all of that. So, um, that's what's going to be included. But you have to think this through. You have to have the ability to come and get this thing because I can't ship it. All right. So think about that first. How are you going to come and get it? Second is how are you going to pay for it? Okay. So make sure that you have the money to pay for it because, wishing and getting are two different things. It's kind of unfair to other people if you put in some kind of bid that you can't commit to. And then other people are there waiting in line because they want it too. So just be sure of yourself that you're able to get it done. In your email, also state whether or not you wanted to be identified as the person that won the auction for the sewing machine. If you want the credit for it, I can put your name. If you want to remain anonymous, I can do that too. The reason I say do your research is so that way you're not bidding $200 on this sewing machine. Okay, because I don't know what I'm gonna have, how I can answer that email. Okay, the rejection of the $200 bid. So make it realistic, okay? Because this is real world stuff here. We're not in fantasy land. So I'll be collecting all the emails and I'll be keeping a tally of the high bid. I'm not sure if I should be announcing what the bid is. Maybe I will, so that way people will know what the next bid should be, and the next higher bid, and whether you're in or not. Well, the sewing machine has been a good old friend to me. Never gave me any trouble at all. It's always been there, 100% reliable for me. But I guess I'm gonna miss her a little bit, aren't I? This sewing machine has a lot of history. Some people even said that it should probably be in a museum. I don't know what museum, but that's what they say. So don't just think of this thing here as a sewing machine. Okay, what it is, it's a money printing machine. This this here will make you money for decades to come. And if you think about it that way, then your initial investment for it, you're gonna say, well, that's just like pennies compared to what I could be making, the big money. And for you newbies out there, this machine here can provide you and your family with a really nice life if you do it right. Goodbye, old friend. If you like this video, you'll really like the next one.